Martin. I'm one of the counselors here. I work with students with last names L through M. Who are my students? L through M. Nice. Hi, I'm Mr. Martin. So we are here today to work on a four-year plan. Okay, so what is a four-year plan? It's basically a map. It's for your education. You're here in high school for 4 years. So today we're going to make sure that you plan out accordingly and you take the right courses to fulfill your goals. So to make sure that you get where you want to go, and this is why we're here, to make sure that you get there. Okay. So colleges. There's many types of choices of colleges once you graduate from high school. You have the CSUs. There's 23 campus. Who knows California State University? Yes?
UC Irvine?
UC, that's a UC.
Oh, wait,
CSU.
Oh, CSU.
Yeah, that's like California State University, like San Marcos, Fullerton. There's 23 campus. And then the CSU, the UCs, that's what you're talking about. That's the 9 campus. So there's like UCI, UCLA, those are the UCs. And there's also 120 California community college. So who can name a community college? Maricosta, Palomar. There's 120. And then there's also the option of going to out-of-state public universities. And there's private colleges like Chapman University is a local one. Also we have San Diego. We have USC. And there's also the option of doing military academies, trade schools, and technical schools. So those are some of the things, places that you might consider going after you graduate from high school. So we're going to discuss a little bit about A through G. I'm just going to do a quick overview. This is, for some of you, this might be the first time that you hear about A through G, but you're going to hear about this over and over. We're going to talk about it soon, in a couple of weeks, when we meet for your course selections for next year, and also as a sophomore and a junior and a senior. We're going to make sure, so don't feel overwhelmed or don't feel like you need to memorize all this. We'll guide you through the process of selecting A through G courses. So A through G is this. These are the requirements that you need to be ordered to go into a four-year university. So those are the UCs and the CSUs. So you need a minimum of 15 year-long courses. The A is the social studies. So you need 2 years of social studies. Some of you are currently taking world history, so you've already fulfilled that requirement. And then in English, you need 4 years, which you fulfill that requirement because every year that you're here, you will be taking an English class. And then math is 3 years. Lab science is 2 years. Language other than English is 2 years. So for you, some of you might be taking Spanish, French, American Sign Language. That's the language other than English. And then we have the visual performing arts, which is 1 year. So visual performing arts can be anything from Art 1 to if you're in the music program or if you're in drama, anything like that will fulfill the F requirement. And then you have a G elective, which is 1 year. So the thing that's new for you this year is that you have to complete at least 11 courses by the beginning of senior year. So you would have had to fulfill 11 of those requirements. These are the Oceanside High School requirements. So these, as you can see, they're very similar to the A through G requirements. Because what we try to do here at Oceanside High is try to make sure that while you're also completing graduation requirements, you are also fulfilling A through G requirements and ready to apply and go on to a four-year university. So like the same as A through G, 4 years of English. In social studies, 30 credits. In math, it's 3 years, which is including algebra and geometry. And then in science, is 2 years, which you need a physical science and a lab science. So some of you might be taking biology or physics. That's 1 year. And then the following year, you'll either do chemistry or biology for those that are doing physics. So that's how you fulfill that. And then for the foreign language, you get 20 credits. For fine arts, practical arts, it's 10 credits, which is equivalent to 1 year. And for PE, you need 20 credits, including PE 9A. So PE 9A is a requirement that's specific to this district. So if you're planning on graduating from Oceanside High or El Camino High School, you have to fulfill PE 9A. And for electives, you get 60 credits. So in order to graduate, you need 220 credits. You need to complete the health online course or a course here, which on your regular school day, which is a 1 semester course. And you have to pass the California High School exit exam. So those are the requirements. I know this is a lot of information, but does anybody have any questions regarding graduation requirements or A through G? Before I move on? No questions? All right. Okay, for NCAA, these are for our student athletes. If you are planning on playing sports in college, then there's a little bit of extra that you need to do. They're very similar to the A through G requirements, but you have to do just a little extra, which is an extra year of math or science. For example, another thing that you have to do is that make sure that you register for in the NCAA, and that's the website. And then all the information is in the course catalog if you want to do it. And also another big thing that's very important is that you have to tell your counselor that you are planning on playing sports in college. Because if you don't tell us, we don't know, and we won't know to be able to give you this information and make sure that you're following the NCAA guidelines. So just make sure you let us know, because the last thing you want is your senior year and you're being recruited by a college and you don't have the necessary requirements to play college sports. It's any sports. It's not just football, it's not just baseball, it's any of the sports that you play in college. So make sure that you do. Now let's start planning. I'm going to go ahead and first distribute our course catalog. This catalog contains all of the information that I just went over. It also has course descriptions of all of the classes that we offer here at the high school. Okay, so your name, where it says My 4-Year Plan by, and then write your name, and today's date. And just look up so I can see that you're done and you can move on. Circle your counselor. If you don't know who your counselor is, on the first page, if you open the course catalog, on the first page is the alpha breakdown of the counselors. So it'll tell you who your counselor is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. We'll start with the first section, which is social studies. Right here in this block where it says 9th grade, social studies A. Some of you might be taking world history currently. If you're taking world history, go ahead and write world history down. If you are not, then leave it blank. The next one, B, is English. All of you guys are enrolled in an English class. So go ahead and write down English 9 on that box. The same with math. All of you are enrolled in a math class. You're either taking algebra, geometry, or some of you might be doing algebra 2. for the science, some of you might be taking physics, others biology, and if you're not taking a science class, leave it blank. Okay, the next area is world languages. So if you're taking a world language such as Spanish, American Sign Language, or French, please write it down there. Otherwise, leave it blank. The next category is electives. If you are taking an elective, go ahead and write it there. It could be anything like computer applications, anything that is not a visual performing art. Visual performing art is, like I said, if you're taking a music, choir, art, that one you would put down in the F category, but anything different that you would put in elective. And we're going to go around and help you. If you have any questions, let's just get to freshmen, and then I'm going to give you some examples of different four-year plans, and then you're going to individually work, raise your hand, and we'll come around and help you. Some of you might be taking a support class, like a math support class, or a Read 180 support class, an ELD class, something like that. That would go under the electives. And then the last category is PE, physical education. So most of you should be enrolled in a PE class, either a PE 9A, a team sports, body dynamics, or if you're doing any of the advanced sports, you would put it there. I know that some of you might be taking marching PE, so that would go there as well. Okay, so you should have 6 boxes filled, all 6 periods. Some of you might be doing drill or marching, so you might have more, but you should have 6. So one more thing before you work on your own is if you turn to page 32 on the course catalog. Everybody go ahead and turn to page 32. These are different examples of four-year plans, because we know that everybody's different and everybody's going to have an individual plan. So this is guides of different types of students, and it might relate to you, that maybe it'll help you when you fill out 10, 11, and 12 year. The first one is a general four-year plan. Okay, so this is a general student. The first area is minimum requirements to get into a UC, CSU school. The one next to it is a competitive person. If you really want to be competitive, and at this point, you probably should be looking at the competitive, because as you all know, with budget cuts, they're decreasing the amount of students that are enrolling in as freshmen. So you really need to stand out when you apply to a four-year university. So make sure that you look at the competitive if you really want your application to stand out. So those are it. The one on the bottom is a student that's an AVID. So that's an AVID student. The same minimum requirements. On the other one is a competitive. Okay, and if it's another program other than AVID that you're taking, we also have examples of a band and music student. So that's in page 34. If you're in band and music, you should follow that. The one on the bottom is a Health Academy student. Okay, here at Oceanside High, we have a Health Academy, and those are students, for students that are interested in pursuing a career in the health field, anything from a doctor, nurse, veterinarian, EMT, anything like that. You should definitely apply to the Health Academy. It's a great program. The next page, page 36, is an ELD student, and that can be any support student. Let's say like you are a student that has an IEP, then you would, instead of ELD, you would just put your support classes that you're in there. So as you can see, even if you are an ELD or in any other program, you can still be competitive and achieve what you want to do and go to a four-year university. Just make sure you follow this plan. And the last page is for our athletes, NCAA. So that's a little plan for you to follow if you are planning to play sports in college. Okay? So now we will go around the room and help you with sophomore, junior, and senior year. Okay? Thank you. You guys were great.
It'll be your first opportunity to take an AP class, which is Advanced Placement Comparative. If you want to, you can see on the competitive side, most students in sophomore year take APCP. So if that's the category that you want to be in, then I would recommend to do it next year. If not, then you can also do AP Euro, which is AP European History. That's another good AP class. We also offer AP Art History as a sophomore, so that's another AP class you can take as a sophomore, or AP Psychology is a sophomore class. So then the next one is English. You're all going to need an English class next year, so just look for that.
If you already speak Spanish, you should take another language because then you'll have three languages, and then you'll be fluent in four languages. Okay?
And then in math, you're all going to have a math class next year. So if you're currently in algebra, you'll move on to geometry. If you're doing geometry, you'll move on to algebra 2. And if you're in algebra 2, you'll do calculus.
So some kids don't do well in science because it's such an interactive, everything was.
And then in science, the same, you're all going to be enrolled in a science class. So if you're currently taking biology, you can do either physics or chemistry. And if you're doing physics, then you should do biology next year to get done with your lab science.
Okay, and then visual and performing arts are like your band classes, your choir, art.
And then world language, if you haven't started on that, it's a good thing to do next year because you need 2 years to fulfill the requirements and remember 3 to be competitive. So if you haven't done it, then you want to be in that competitive side, then you should do it next year. So your options are American Sign Language, French, or Spanish.
So it's not just like bowls and stuff. There's a class called 3D design and sculpture. Where they do stuff like those.
And then art too, if you haven't done it.
3D design and sculpture. 3D design and sculpture is more.
Wow, you guys are.
They do a lot of different things.
French. So you're currently doing French, then you should do it next year too. Because you don't want to leave a gap between, because then it'll be harder for you to transition back.
What's AP Science?
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you need one more. So are you going to continue with advanced sports next year? No, then you still need a PE class though. So you need a PE, and then that's your sophomore year.